Happy holidays. Welcome to the 411 Sports World Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. 411. This is our NBA Christmas preview edition. And with me tonight are Lacey and the return of Zach. What's going on?
Go Dogs.
Yeah, man. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Man, everything is lovely, man. So, man, it's good to have you guys. It's good to be around. It's the holiday season. Christmas is, 3.5 hours away. And,
on your coast. It's about 5.5 hours away over here.
Yeah, so we do have this delay here. So, Zach, you're in, El Paso, Texas, correct?
Yes, the Sun City.
Man, so when is the Sun Bowl? Isn't it coming up soon?
I think Saturday.
Wow. Well, will Zach make an appearance there?
That's going to be a no.
Oh man. Not the Sun Bowl. You're not gonna miss the Sun Bowl, are you?
As much as I like Mark Rick, I'll catch him on TV as he makes an appearance or something.
I mean, he's gonna be right there in your neighborhood, man.
I'm not going to the Sun Bowl.
And just to let you know, Lacey's part of that Bulldog Nation as well. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he would love to have you, show up to the game and get some up close, pictures and some things of that nature.
Mark Rick isn't a Bulldog. He's not a Bulldog anymore.
Yeah. Not quite.
Oh man.
I'll still pull for him, but he's not part of the family anymore.
Wow, so he's an estranged family member now. Okay.
Oh yeah, the feelings mutual, man.
I hear y'all, man. Well, we hope things work out for Rick and the Bulldogs as they both travel in their respective ways. But man, look, the holiday season is upon us, and guys, we'll start with you, Lacey. What's one of your most memorable Christmas moments as a child?
Oh man, well for me, man, the most it was every year, but the most the most memorable moment for me, man, was kind of like laying there in bed at night, just the anticipation, man, of just waking up. You can kind of hear your parents or whatever, going, through your little gifts or whatever. And, you in there with your door closed or whatever. So for me, it was just laying in bed, man, with all the lights out, man, and just anticipating, what the living room was going to look like with the gifts, man, when I hit the floor that next morning. So that was big for me area, man, just the anticipation, man.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
Well, I think Lacey had it covered because, honestly, there's nothing like being a kid and hoping that you get the presents that you asked for because you can't really sleep at night. So I'll just add maybe a sports moment in it. And it just so happens that today I'm wearing my Warren Moon jersey. And as you know, Mr. 411, he's my favorite football player of all time. And back in 1993 on Christmas Day, the Houston Oilers played the San Francisco 49ers. This was at a time that the Oilers didn't necessarily get a whole lot of respect because they didn't perform too well in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And they went into San Francisco and won 10-7. Moon didn't have a great day. In fact, he only threw one touchdown pass and had 3 interceptions, but they got the win, which took them to 11-4. And at least for a little bit, the world was off the Oilers' back. So that was pretty exciting because at that time, that's when the 49ers were actually the 49ers. So that was a pretty good day. All the haters had to go away for a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. And I do remember, how huge of a Warren Moon fan you were and still are. And it's good to know that you're still representing that Warren Moon. Well, for me, it's I remember it. Of course, all the Christmases have been great, but there's one that continues to stick out, man. It's the year that I woke up and kind of like you guys, you just hear all the rumbling up front because you you know, it's the year of the skateboards and all that good stuff. But man, I opened up one of my presents and it was Mike Tyson's Punch Out for the Nintendo system. And man, I just remember, man, I was so excited for that, to have that game. And I played it all day long, you know, and it was just so exciting, man. And I remember the day that I finally made it to Mike Tyson and finally figured out how to beat that guy. But that was, to this day, that still sticks with me. And I hope all the kids across the globe are equally as excited for Christmas. You know, but guys, you know, with Christmas comes along, and we're going to tie this into the NBA. We have the present that the NBA loves to give its fans across the globe, which is, you know, the Christmas Day special, where they showcase at least 5 games at this point now with basketball. So before we delve into each individual game, if you had to give an NBA team a present, Wasey, what's that team and what would that present be?
Oh man, this is an easy choice for me, man. If I could give one NBA team a Christmas present, man, it would be the Philadelphia 76ers, man.
Wow. Okay.
And I would give them a win. That would be my Christmas gift to them because, oh man, 1-30 for a professional team through 31 games is kind of getting to that sad level, man. So with me, Philadelphia would definitely be my pick, man. And I would give them guys at least one win, man. At least another win, and to make it even. So that's me, man. I mean, one win. That's kind of unexplainable, man.
Well, you'll double the win total if you do that. That should be a great gift. And I hear that another present heading their way is Ish Smith. It's some kind of acquisition of Ish Smith from the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I seen that today.
I'm not sure if that's a gift or is that coal in the stocking, but he is heading that direction.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Zach?
Well, I can understand why someone would want to give the Sixers more wins, but I actually kind of like their plan. I hate that they changed up from it because you're either winning the title or you should be trying to be bad so you can get better, even though they're really bad. But me, I'm going to go totally the opposite direction. I'm going to go to the team that only has one loss. If I could give anybody a gift, I would give the Golden State Warriors organization a hug. Because everybody despises the Golden State Warriors, and I don't get it. All they do is go out there and play good basketball, don't get in trouble, have a guy that went from being some didn't think he'd necessarily make it in the NBA, and he's become a top 5 player, and everybody hates the Warriors. Everybody says something about the Warriors. So I would give them a hug because I just don't understand what they've done wrong.
Well,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting gift there, man. And that's a gift that, you know, that you don't have to pull any money out your pocket for either. So, you know, very economical there, Zach. Giving the organization a hug. You know, Jerry West, who else? Steve Kerr with Steph Curry. So, you know, I guess those guys really, they need to listen to this podcast and let the Golden State Warrior Nation know that Zach cares about the Warriors. For myself, my gift, well, first, my team that I would give this gift to are the Los Angeles Clippers. I would give the Los Angeles Clippers the gift of cohesion. They have a lot of pieces, and right now none of it working together like it should. Whether it's DeAndre Jordan, you know, with his, you know, lack of free throw shooting, or the pieces of Josh Smith and Lance Stevenson and Paul Pierce not necessarily meshing at this point, or it could be Doc Rivers not figuring out how to mesh all these pieces together. But cohesion is the gift that I would give the LA Clippers, because in the West, when you have the Spurs and Golden State that you're, and Oklahoma City that you're looking up to, you're going to need cohesion in order to break through that wall. So that's my gift to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Okay.
All right. So we know all the listeners out there. You probably have your team and your gift. So if you have anything there, you can post it on our Facebook page, and you can also paste it on YouTube once we upload this program. So heading into December 25th, guys, there's 5 games out there. The first game is the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're at the Miami Heat. So let's go ahead and break that matchup down. And Wakey, we'll go ahead and start with your thoughts on that matchup.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna take Miami to win that game. I think it'll be competitive for the most part. Those guys know they're on the national stage. Everybody's watching. But what I would like to see from Miami is a little more consistency, because Miami is they've been pretty impressive in spurts this year. And then they'll turn around, they'll lose a game that, it's kind of like, wow, you just came off that big win, against a good team, and then you turn around and you lose a game that you're just supposed to win. I mean, Miami, they have a chance to really threaten Cleveland if they just was to just garner together a little bit more consistency. That's what I would like to see from Miami against New Orleans. I guess that game I would like to see them win it, Miami, and I would like to see that game kind of jumpstart more consistency from the Heat themselves, because the team that they have around them, and I mean, there's some of the games that they lose, it's kind of, to me, as far as me, it's mind blowing. Like, wow, how could you lose that game? But that's just me, man. With Miami, I like to see more consistency out of that.
Okay. All right. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Zach?
Well, I think Wasey stole my notes or something when I wasn't looking, because I kind of agree with him that the Heat should win this game. Unfortunately, it's going to be competitive, and as we know, I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'll just start with what I want to see from New Orleans first. I'd like to see Anthony Davis play like he's the best player in the world, because all he does is tease everybody. One game he goes out there, he's putting up like 30 and 15, blocking 4 or 5 shots. Then another game, he's hurt, or he just looks like some dude out there, pardon what I'm saying, or he's out there playing like a girl. I want him to play like the guy that he gets built up to be every year, and he hasn't fully realized that yet. And as far as for the Heat, Wasey's absolutely in the ballpark on what he was saying. Miami still gives that same half-ass effort that they gave when LeBron was there. They sleepwalk through the regular season. They lose the teams they shouldn't lose to, and they're trying to get to the finals. They're trying to win a championship. That's what Miami's supposed to be about. And this right here is going to get you playing a Game 7 in Cleveland, and it's already going to be hard enough to beat a LeBron-led team. So they need to pick it up and do everything they can so they can get the 1 seed. So I just want to see more effort from them, and I need to see Anthony Davis be the guy that everybody hypes him up to be.
Right.
I tell you, man, you guys are on your game, man. It's like, I think both of you guys are looking on my sheet, but what I want to see from this game is, just the nuts and bolts of it is, I want to see Anthony Davis, and I want to see how Miami plays defense against him. He's a versatile big. Miami has a traditional center with Whiteside, so I want to see how they play this out. And I have to give Spoelstra his due. He's a very good coach, and Miami does have a system in place. They like to pride themselves on defense. But tomorrow, the best player on the court for that game should be Davis, and I want to see what they do. How are they going to use Bosh or Whiteside or some kind of combination of those two guys to defend Davis with his inside-outside game? Do you guys think that Bosh would take on that head-to-head matchup, or do you think it's going to be more Whiteside?
I think they're going to use some type of combination, but it depends on what Davis you get. If you get to Davis, and once again, excuse me, but if you get to Davis that's shooting jumpers like he's a girl or a finesse player, then anybody can guard him. If you get to Davis that's going to go in there, bang, and utilize all his skill set, then it's difficult for anybody in the NBA to guard him. So you'll see early what you're going to get from him.
Right. I think Miami's just gonna go with what Davis gives them. If he's closer to the basket, I think they'll use Whiteside. If he plays that finesse game where he want to step out like he's, for some odd reason, I don't know why, he's so far away from the basket this year. But if he chooses to go that route, I think they'll use Bosh more. But I definitely agree with you guys. It's going to be a combination of both defenders on him, Whiteside and Bosh. But yeah, man, I agree with you, Zach. Man, I don't understand. It's kind of inexplicable the way he just, he was flourishing when he was playing closer to the basket, and then all of a sudden this year, you want to take your game out further away from the basket. I don't get that about Davis. That's puzzling to me.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, if you guys have been watching Al Horford lately, he's kind of like there in the Al Horford range out there, with this falling in love for shooting this 3-point shot.
Right.
And I like to see him, take advantage of your height, athleticism, and with your quickness. He used to be a point guard at one point in time, so he should be able to take advantage of these big guys closer to the basket.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to be keying on tomorrow. That's the opening matchup at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and that would be 10 a.m. in El Paso, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. The next matchup. Let's see, Chicago Bulls. They'll be traveling to Oklahoma City. Is that correct, fellas?
Yes, sir.
I think that's correct.
Okay. So we have the Chicago Bulls, another Eastern Conference contender. They're going to be heading up against. They're going to go head-to-head with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who is obviously not just a Western Conference contender, but a finals contender. So this should be an interesting matchup. You're going to have a team that plays with a deliberate pace versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I believe this is the second matchup between these two teams. But the Thunder are they have a two-headed monster that's very tough to deal with. And Chicago has some weapons in their own right. So what do you guys take on this matchup?
Well, I have OKC winning. The Bulls, to me, still don't score enough, and then their defense is slipped. And worst part for them, Rose just ain't the guy that he was back in 2010 when he was winning MVP. And you were absolutely correct when you said OKC has a two-headed monster, and that's the problem. I want to see those guys go out there and be great, but once again, I'm not going to say a consistency issue, but it's more a chemistry issue. They haven't found the right mix where they really, on a, majority of the nights can go out there and really be the best, both with, without disrupting the flow of the offense and everything. It's kind of, it's a little bumpy. And they have a lot of great pieces there because outside of those two, you got Ibaka. You can bring Cantor off the bench. Man, it's slipping my mind right now, but the guy that they got from Cleveland shooting guard that
Oh, Waiters, Dion.
yeah, there you go, Waiters. They have pieces. These guys they should be legitimate championship contenders. And when those two are right and they're playing, with that synergy, who can stop them? But they just don't do it all the time. They have some losses also that you're like, how did they lose to this team? So I just want to see those guys get that together, and I want them to continue for the rest of their career because they are two phenomenal players. And you don't get that too often. So OKC is very lucky to have them.
Right.
Oh, go ahead, Wason.
Okay. So, for me, once again, I had to agree with Zach. I got OKC winning. But Chicago, I feel, I've read a couple of reports here lately, last couple of days. I think they're in the beginning stages of trying to rebuild that team. I think that the guy, I don't know if Noah's going to play. I think he's hurt. I don't think he's going to play. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think those guys just need to continue to compete because obviously some of those guys are going to be gone. I think some of those guys may have an opportunity to get traded to a contender, where they'll be able to immediately jump in there and compete for a championship. But Chicago, to me, I think they're getting ready to blow that team up. So I just would like to see Chicago just continue to compete. I don't think they're really a legitimate anything. They may make the playoffs. They're in the Eastern Conference. It's kind of a weak conference. So they may make that. And with OKC, man, you nailed it, Zach. With the Westbrook and Durant thing, I give Westbrook a hard time, but I just want to give him a little credit right now because particularly about the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I've been noticing that Westbrook is kind of making an effort. He have his moments in games, but for the most part, he seems to be looking for Durant a little bit more, versus more so than himself. And I think that someone definitely needs to establish themselves as the guy. Both of them are definitely more than capable, but somebody just got to step up and just be that guy. When it's time to make a play or a decision to be made. Right now, they don't know, and I think that at this point, 5, 6 years in together, that should be established by now. And until they establish that, I'm like you. I think it's going to always be a conflict there, and that may be the one thing that stops them from getting over that little hump, man, and winning the championship. But if they can figure that out, they're definitely dangerous, man.
Yeah, they are a dangerous team, and I'll tell you, just to slide back just for a quick second, I do have Miami Heat winning their game, and now back to this game, I have Oklahoma City winning. I think they're going to extract revenge from their previous matchup than when they lost to Chicago in a close game. Rose, that particular night, had a very good game, but it was kind of like not the norm as far as his season has been going. I think that just touching on what you guys were talking about with the Oklahoma City vibe, they have, in my opinion, the best 1-2 punch in the league. But I do agree that somebody has to kind of establish how they're gonna, play down the stretch. The thing is, they both have like a clear-cut advantage of the guy that's in front of them. That it's hard for somebody like Durant to pass up, and then it's hard for somebody like Westbrook who has the ball and can just blow right by you to say, hey, I'm not going to do that. So I think between those two guys, and I think Billy Donovan needs to step in here, and I believe that's why he was brought in as the coach. He needs to step in here and kind of devise a way that they could close out these games a lot better. It's definitely going to be needed when they play teams like the Spurs, Golden State. When they start playing those teams in, Cleveland, they're going to have to figure out how to shut people down. One of the biggest surprises to me on Oklahoma's roster is Ibaka. I've been watching him the last couple of weeks, and this guy, man, he's developed, his jump shot is almost automatic now, to be a big guy. And, to go along with his defensive prowess, I mean, now he's hitting open jumpers, not just from, 18. He's hitting them from 20, 23. He's hitting from 3-point line now. So that's
like
another.
Bosh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a Bosh. It's like a defensive guy who's turned into Chris Bosh, and that's another weapon that they need. Zach, you mentioned Cantor earlier. Cantor, I believe he averaged almost 20 and 10 last year. When he was traded over. So that's a big guy that they need to use in the post, which might be their Achilles heel when it comes to the postseason. Who can they dump the ball down to when they need to slow it down or get some consistent baskets? But other than that, I feel like Oklahoma is right there. They will win tomorrow. And, I give Jimmy Butler some love. He's an excellent two-way player. And I think he has nothing but the world ahead of him. So I would like to watch him play tomorrow, too, and see how he matches up with Durant. For our third matchup, and this is the big one. This is the 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the main event of the day. I mean, this is the game that ABC Network / ESPN / Disney wants to have at 5 o'clock, where everybody's sitting at the, just finished eating their dinner. Presents have been opened from earlier in the day, and now it's time to relax and kick back. The Cleveland Cavaliers at the Golden State Warriors. We're talking NBA Finals rematch. We're talking LeBron James. We're talking the league MVP, Steph Curry. We're talking about a team with one loss. Guys, have at it.
Zach, go ahead and jump in there, man.
Okay. Well, I think first everybody needs to pump the brakes because this isn't a rematch. When this game is over, nobody's getting the Larry O'Brien trophy. Golden State is going to keep that till the end of the year. This is a regular season game that should be fun for the fans, and it'll give both teams, a chance. Maybe if you're looking at a boxing match, this is first round, and they just gonna maybe trade some jabs, and this gives you an idea maybe of what will happen later on. Now, I have Cleveland winning because I think LeBron is going to go out there, and this is what I want to see. I expect LeBron James to remind everybody that he's the best player on the planet and that he's been the best player since 2008 because everybody keeps talking about Curry or all these other individuals, and they forget about this guy. And all he does is keep dragging teams that don't have the best pieces around him to the NBA Finals. So I expect him to have a great game tomorrow. And I expect this hopefully to be a fun game for everybody. So let's put the title stuff on hold because Golden State might not make it there. But we will get a chance to see a really good basketball game tomorrow. And LeBron will once again show that he's the best player in the world.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. All right, man. I got Cleveland. I got Cleveland winning. But more importantly, what I would like to see from Cleveland, I'm gonna just talk about Cleveland for a minute. For the first time, man, well, it's gonna be the second time. But I think last night was the first time. They're gonna have everybody, full roster of the guys together. I just like to see them continue to build a chemistry together, man. That way they can get ready for this deep run that I expect them to go on. And I like to see Kyrie, just continue to play him, 20 to 23 minutes. Don't get too caught up in the game and try to overplay him. Just ease him back in there. And I just like to
Absolutely.
I just like to see Cleveland start to develop chemistry with all the guys there. Golden State, Golden State are who they are. They're going to play their type of ball, up tempo, small lineup, shoot a lot of threes. I think Cleveland just needs to go in with whatever their game plan is going to be and just play that game. I expect them to win, but if Golden State starts to blow the game open a little bit, stick to your game plan, Cavaliers. That's what I would like to see. And it's definitely going to be a great game for the fans. It's going to be that. So. That's me. That's my take on it. But I got Cleveland winning.
Okay. I definitely agree with you guys that this is going to be a fun game. It's great for the fans. And some of the matchups that I like to key in on tomorrow, I want to see, since Shumpert has returned, he's the defensive guy along with LeBron, but he's the defensive guy that, can, give guys like Klay Thompson, give them a run for their money. And I want to see how he handles himself out there tomorrow on the defensive end. The Cleveland is finally have their full roster now, but obviously they're not going to just, run everybody out there the whole game like this was a playoff game. But it will be interesting to see now as more players are slotted to their natural roles, just to kind of see, gauge how they will combat the small ball attack. But I think Shumpert, I want to see how he D's up on Klay. Curry's going to get his. I mean, that just is what it is right now, especially with this being a home game and a showcase game. He's going to hit those threes, but I want to see what happens with Draymond Green. How does Cleveland deal with him tomorrow? Are they, are they going to go with Thompson at center and maybe phase out Mozgov tomorrow? What type of route they're going to go there? Are they going to put LeBron at the 4? I want to just see how that plays out. I see it being a tight game, and actually, I kind of see Gold State pulling away. Probably, late in the game, they'll probably pull away and win this one. But it will be a close game, in my opinion, and definitely entertaining.
Right.
But that's just my take for tomorrow. And it's one game, but that's just the way I see it playing out tomorrow. Only because Kyrie is not fully back yet, and
right.
I don't think they're going to wear him out as well. And I think you guys mentioned that earlier. They're just going to kind of ease him back into the season, and eventually he'll overtake that point guard role, and Williams will fall into the backup, and Dellavedova will be the third string defensive guy. And I think things are looking up for the Cavs, though. It's a strong possibility that these two teams will meet again in June, and that would definitely be entertaining. How about the?
Let me add one more thing about it. Yeah, just one more thing.
Go ahead.
What I would like to see Cleveland, not just Cleveland, other teams too.
Yeah.
Start to do. I would like to see people start to working those high screening roles with the point guard to make Curry work a little bit more on the defensive end. I think that he's a great, he'll come off like help defender and get a steal or two. But on ball defense, I think teams need to start sending using the high screening role. Getting him a little bit more action on defense, man. Making him exert a little bit more energy on defense, man. Even with Mo Williams being such a solid offensive player, I think that when Kyrie is in there, they need to send it with a high screen and roll with Mozgov or Tristan or whoever, Love, whoever. And same thing when Mo Williams comes in. Use that, just get him moving on defense. And I think that a lot of that, as the season goes on, including the playoffs, you'll start to see that guy's legs, some of those fourth quarter 3-pointers that go in.
Right.
When teams start to making him work, you're going to start seeing some of them 3-pointers start hitting front rim. And I believe Cleveland, they just need to, not a heavy dose, just give him a little bit of that. Just give him a little bit of that tomorrow.
Okay, well, we'll definitely take a look at that. Some of the matchups that I've noticed throughout so far this season, if you look at the 2 times that they played Toronto, the point guard for Toronto, Lowry, he was doing those type of things. He was even posting up Curry, backing him down. You got to attack him. If you look at one of the matchups against, two matchups against the Clippers. Chris Paul, they match up. They both score on each other, but those type of guards attack him and try to take advantage of his lack of, I would just say, lack of defensive effort.
Yeah. But the issue. Well,
go ahead, Zach.
I'm sorry, but the issue is this: every team can't do that, because for every team that has a Russell Westbrook that can go at Curry,
right?
Everybody forgets about Klay Thompson is a pretty good basketball player. Harrison Barnes at one time was the #1 high school basketball player in the world.
That's true.
Andrew Bogut was the #1 overall draft pick. Draymond Green was solid at Michigan State, and he's a pretty good NBA player. Then you add in Festus Ezeli, is not a bad guy to have as your backup. Andre Iguodala is a pretty good basketball player. Sean Livingston, they have the best roster in the NBA. So yeah, you can take Curry out of the game, but they're almost like that Pistons '04 team.
Mm-hmm.
Only their mantra is offense, and they play team ball. Curry gets his, but it's through the team effort. He doesn't have to do everything by himself.
Right.
So it's tough right now when those guys are playing the way that they play.
Yeah.
And I didn't even name, Spates.
Right,
they got McAdoo and Looney on the bench, and they can't get no play time.
Right.
And they were pretty good college players.
Right. That's
true. Jerry West, he has his imprint all over the team, and
oh, absolutely.
And
they have an outstanding roster.
Yeah, and the key to them is their pieces fit. Their pieces fit. The players that they have fit with each other. They don't have the bigs that need the ball all night, but when they play, they do their role. You have the undersized 5 with Green. That's just like the perfect player for this type of system. I mean, it's kind of like, if you rewind the tape back to the old Phoenix Suns days, Draymond Green would have been a great player with Steve Nash, playing on those Phoenix type teams. So it's a tough, puzzle to solve right now. But we'll definitely see as the season moves along. But I do think that teams need to attack Curry early. I agree with that, to at least get him in some foul trouble, so that maybe he can go to the bench for a little bit and see how they go from there.
Yeah, but the thing is, too, Golden State's not dumb. They protect Curry on defense. Mm-hmm. They shift Klay Thompson or Barnes or even Draymond over to someone that might be taking advantage of Curry. So Curry gets the, if at all possible at times on the court, he gets the easiest assignment because he isn't the most physical guy.
But
they know what they're doing.
But that's what's unique about Cleveland, though. See, Cleveland, if you try, you really can't protect him if you go with, just say if they go with Thompson at the 5, LeBron at the 4, Love at the 4, LeBron at the 3, Kyrie, and J.R. Smith or somebody. I think that all of those guys, those wing players, if you set a high pick with LeBron or Love or whoever, you really can't protect Curry if he switches off on a guy, whoever. Cleveland has the talent and the roster with those wing players to whoever he switches off of still can go at him offensively. In my opinion.
Not really, because who cares about J.R. Smith? I'll let Curry guard J.R. Smith every day, and if J.R. Smith puts up 30 or 40 against me, good luck, because he's one of the best bad shot takers in the NBA. He takes as many bad shots as you want.
Well, see what I'm saying. Like Curry's gonna probably be going Mo Williams or Kyrie, who has the ball. So,
no way. They won't let him guard Kyrie. They'll let him guard him until what you said starts happening, and then they'll slide him over and put Thompson on it. I mean, that's just a smart thing to do. I wouldn't put Curry. I'd be surprised if they let Curry take Kyrie, especially a healthy Kyrie, the whole game. That's just not smart. And when do we see Curry getting foul trouble?
Do you remember last year during the finals when the commentator, I forget what guy it was, and they kept saying they need to go set the high screen and roll to, basically saying what we're saying now about making Curry, but for some reason
make him defend.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I think you got to at least attempt it to see what they do, and then you make adjustments from there.
Yeah.
Oh, no. What you're saying is absolutely correct. It's just that Golden State, as I said, their coaching staff, they do a great job of protecting Curry.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good stuff here, fellas, and definitely I'll be, paying a little closer attention tomorrow to see how these teams strategize against one another, especially in the early going, and then we'll see how they adjust. The 8 o'clock matchup: San Antonio Spurs and Houston Rockets. The Battle of Texas. Zach, I know you're a little too far away in El Paso to get over there, so the only way we watch this game is on television, I would assume. But, man, Houston, a big disappointment, man. I mean, I know on the preview show, man, I know I had them near the top. And, man, these guys they're just falling to pieces, man. And, I mean, they're still in the playoff hunt, but they just went from Western Conference Finals challenger to just another team making the playoffs, in my opinion. But the Spurs, man, the season rolling along, and here they come again. They're just right there. And, I mean, they're right there near the top. And the Aldridge trade, Aldridge is starting to turn it around. He's starting to fit in. And, man, these guys are looking tough, man. Leonard, two-way player, arguably one of the better two-way players in the league today. I'm assuming that we all have the Spurs winning this game, but what do you what are one of your major takes or keys to this matchup for tomorrow?
Well, I'll just go first because mine is going to be really, really easy. As you said, Spurs win, and I'll learn absolutely nothing from this damn game because the Rockets are terrible and the Spurs are a whole lot better. So go ahead, Wasey.
Okay. I got San Antonio, man. We're in agreement there. I just think the Spurs, man, that's a scary team, man. I'm telling you, man. That team right there, man. They had lost 5 games. I mean, if it wasn't for Golden State with the one loss and the win streak, nobody is really paying attention, man. But these guys, man, I'm telling you, they have a system. I mean, I seen that play the other day where the backup guys made those 8 passes.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely they're impressive, and I have them going to the finals. Spurs, I do. I got them winning tomorrow. And Houston, man, I'm like you, man, Mr. 411. It's just it's mind blowing, man, that what's transpired with them, man. I think Tyler Lawson, man, that guy may really need help with the alcohol thing.
Yeah, I didn't factor that in.
Yeah, he may really need some rehabilitation, man. And Dwight Howard, and at this point with Dwight Howard, I'm gonna just hit on this right quick, and then I'm gonna be done with it. Dwight Howard he's overrated. He's never gonna be what we all NBA fans expect him to be. Far as I'm concerned, Dwight Howard is just a role player, man. And people need to quit expecting him to be this superstar guy. To me, he's not even a second option anymore. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's my take on Houston, man. They just, I don't know, man.
Hey, that was clearly illustrated in the matchup just the other night where Houston was at Orlando and it came down to the last play of the game. It was like, I didn't even have a thought that they would go to Howard at all. At all. And they didn't. And it's like, man, it's just a fall from grace, man. I mean, he's still getting paid. He's had an excellent career. I mean, he gets you doubles, but it's just something there, man, that just, you would have thought that Harden and Howard together, man, that would just been lethal. But Zach, did you have something to throw in there?
Well, I was just going to add in defense of Howard, James Harden is overrated. I don't know why everybody likes James Harden so much when this guy is Carmelo Anthony 2.0. He's isocentric. Everything he does is iso, dribble. If we remember anything, he had 13 turnovers in a playoff game. I just want you to think about that. 13 turnovers in a playoff game. I mean, he's not a terrible player by any means. He's a good NBA player. But if James Harden is your best player, you're not winning anything. And he gets assists, but he doesn't get good assists. The assists he gets are like he's dribbled the clock down. Everybody's been watching him. Nobody else is in the flow of the offense, and he gets it to a guy versus somebody that goes out there and they're facilitating for people a la Chris Paul or LeBron James.
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you that Howard is the end-all, be-all, but Howard led an NBA team to the finals. And he still could be a productive NBA player if he gets with people. I think if you put him with the Clippers, you switch him and DeAndre Jordan, the Clippers are a top-tier contender for the Western Conference Finals. And I'm sorry, the NBA Finals. Harden is as I said, Melo 2.0.
Well, can I take my gift back then that I was going to give the Clippers and just go with, my gift now will be Dwight Howard and, moving Jordan to Houston. That way he'll be back in his home state after all. If that can
It'd be an upgrade.
Yeah, if that can be taken care of, that would be my gift now for the LA Clippers.
Well, let me just say this. I disagree on that. I think if you get Dwight Howard, if you do a swap for Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan, at best you'll be in the same predicament. You're not getting better. I'm telling you, I mean, those guys, like you say, Zach, you say you think you look at Harden like a Carmelo 2.0. Well, with Dwight and DeAndre, either or, you take your pick. Those guys are each other 2.0. I mean, I just don't think you get better with Dwight if you were to do a swap with sending him to the Clippers. I mean, to me, they're the same guy.
Well, I know in the playoffs, Dwight Howard ate DeAndre Jordan's lunch last year. Mm-hmm. So I saw in a series when they went head up, Howard got the better of almost every matchup except maybe one game in that series.
Okay.
And Howard can stay on the floor in the fourth quarter, whereas DeAndre Jordan is always on the bench.
Okay.
Well, we definitely made that game bigger than what it's going to be. But valid points by all. And listeners, you can take all this information and make your opinions off of that. The last matchup of the night, I may be the only person watching this game by then, but it's the Battle of LA.
I'll be watching too.
Okay. You probably will, and you'll probably be sending me messages at the end of the first quarter. But it's the Battle of LA. It's the Lakers and Clippers. Somehow my team manages to be on Christmas Day. It's probably because of number 24, and I'm going ahead, step out on a limb here, and I believe everybody's going to pick the Clippers, including myself. My take on this matchup is I just want to see, just Kobe out there one more time on Christmas Day. He will try his best to compete. The Clippers have too much talent, and they will run away with this game. But it'd just be good to see some moments here and there where, Kobe gives some competitive fire here and there, and then at the end, Chris Paul, Jordan, Blake Griffin, all these guys should have huge numbers tomorrow night. What do you guys take from this matchup?
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, man. I'm gonna take the Lakers. Christmas Day game. I'm just gonna say
you're gonna take the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lakers, man. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say Kobe has one of those vintage MJ games where with the Wizards, I think it was a game or two MJ played for the Wizards. He scored maybe 50 or something like that. I think Kobe has one or two 50-point games left in him. What bigger stage? You know how Kobe's mentality is, man. I mean, it's Christmas Day game. Nobody expects him to win. I mean, they're obviously, they're outmatched. But Kobe, I mean, he's not my favorite, but I always respect his competitiveness, his mentality. It's definitely over with for him, but I don't be surprised. Think about me tomorrow, guys, when Kobe goes off and has one of those vintage Kobe MJ type games. So I'm gonna say I'm
Wow.
right with that one.
Wow. Oh man. I mean that sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Man, it just seems like his body is just only can give him so much, man. You know,
Right.
I could 15 to 18 points. I definitely see that. Man, a huge game. I mean, not impossible. I mean, he could put 30 up, but I mean, the roster, man, the team is just not there. They know it when they go into the game that pretty much, unless it's against the Nuggets or against the, you know, hell, we even lost to the Sixers, but you know, there's got to be a team that they know they got a shot against. But these upper tier teams, man, have just been giving Lakers fits, man. But go ahead, Zach. What you think?
Well, I would almost say 100% the Clippers are going to win if they weren't the Clippers. And they might be the most dysfunctional team on the planet. So Wasey could absolutely be right, and the Lakers could win tomorrow night, and Kobe could have a big game, and I wouldn't be surprised because the damn Clippers are like a Cracker Jack box. You never know what you're going to get. So I'll take the Clippers, though. They should win because they're the better team. And hey, the only thing I want to see is, can DeAndre Jordan play in the fourth quarter? I mean, just play the whole fourth quarter, DeAndre Jordan. That's all I want to see. Just don't be sitting on the bench by Doc in the fourth quarter. I mean, you got $20 million a year, so just please play in the fourth quarter, and that'll be good enough for me on Christmas Day.
Wow. All right. Hey, man, we got our predictions here. You know, all the games are covered, and they are the top 5 games of the day. The only 5 games of the day. So speaking of top 5 and the number 5, in the NBA this season, guys, up to this point, and we can go around the horn on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your top 5 players in the National Basketball Association?
Well, I can go first. I'll since it's been a while since I've been on, and I guess I'll do the go descending, and we'll go with Westbrook at number 5. He leads the NBA in plus minus at 10.46, and he's second in the NBA in efficiency rating at 30.48. And it's got to be very difficult being Westbrook because every time he goes on the court and somebody's guarding him, he can either go around the guy if he's a bigger guy, or he can shoot over the guy if his most point guards guarding him. So I can understand why he has difficulties playing because he always has an advantage. At number 4, I'm going with Steph Curry. And it's hard for me to put Curry over Westbrook because when you look at the physical talent, if you were drafting and I guess you go with the measurables, you take Westbrook. But Curry's skill set right now in the NBA, what he does, shooting the 3 and being able to, handle the ball and shoot the 3 off the dribble is as deadly as anything. So he's my number 4 guy, and that's why he leads the NBA in player efficiency rating at 32.61. Number 3 is Kevin Durant, and man, it's very hard for me to put him at number 3 because once again, when you look at what he does, his skill set, it's kind of hard to say anyone is better than him outside of, who the guy in Cleveland. But he's the best perimeter scorer in the NBA, and he's a phenomenal talent at, 6'11", and some say he's taller, hard to block his shot, and he's a beast. Westbrook and Durant, if they ever get it together, they will go on a serious, serious run. At number 2, that guy in New Orleans that is the best player in the world is under 25. And if he could ever stay healthy and just play the way that he's supposed to play, and maybe the injuries are why he's more finesse now, but if he can ever just play the way that he's supposed to play, he'd be if it was baseball, he'd be a 5-2 player because he does everything. He can pass the ball. He can rebound. He can block shots. He can score from the perimeter. He can score with his back to the basket. He can defend. He does everything that you would want him to do. And then LeBron James is number 1 and I don't even think I'm not even going to go into that. LeBron James is number one. So there you go, my top five.
Hey, great list, man. Great list. I have a slightly different list. Some of the same guys. Zach, you know me. I don't have the player efficiency ratings and all of that, but I got my eyes.
Understand? Hey,
yeah. So I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go with the eye test, man. I'm gonna just do it like this, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start at number one, and we're in agreement. I'm gonna go with LeBron. I just think, his entire game, everything he does on the court, just, his value to his team, just all of the above, man. He's the best player in the world. I got LeBron at number one.
Amen.
Yeah. At number two, I have Steph Curry. This guy, man, some of the things I'm seeing him do, man, it's just, and a lot of people get caught up on the 3-pointers and stuff like that and ball handling. It's amazing, and I can understand why, because I find myself doing that. But if you watch this guy, man, he shoots very good, good percentage. I don't know exactly what the percentage is, but inside the 3-point range, when he penetrates and just pull up 2-point jump shots, and I mean he's a very efficient offensive player, and at the rate that he does it, at very high rate, man. Right now I have him at the number 2 player in the league, Stephen Curry. Number 3, I have Kevin Durant. We're in agreement there. I think that he's just now starting to hit his stride back coming off of that injury, and I think OKC sees that, and they've started featuring him a little bit more, just not much more, but I can kind of see it. They're starting to turn to Durant a little bit more, like they did in some of those in that MVP year. At 4, I have his partner in crime. I have Westbrook at 4. Westbrook, man, he's a guy, man, that his unique skill set, athleticism, to be a point guard is amazing, man. I mean, I've never seen. Derrick Rose was close second when he was healthy, as far as explosiveness coming from the point guard position. But Russell Westbrook, the only problem, the thing that's holding him back is decision making, man. And sometimes it bothers me so bad, man, when he go out there, man, and he just makes I just call them just stupid, dumb decisions, man. If he can ever mature, that comes with time, but he's starting to hit that 6, 7, 8 year range, so he got to start coming around with that, man. If he does that, man, he's MVP type. But right now I got him at 4. And at 5, man, I struggled with this one, but it was between Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but I'm going to give it to Kawhi. I'm going to give it to Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to go Kawhi. Mr. 411, you said he's one of the best two-way players in the league. I'm just going to tell you, he's the best two-way player in the league. Yeah, he's the best two-way player in the league. And actually the game, I think it was 2 or 3 nights ago when they played the Pacers, and he did that phenomenal job on George. I was thinking about that, yeah, and that right there got him the nod as far as my top 5 list go over George. But George is definitely teetering right there at that range. But Kawhi, man, I just like the way he goes about his business, man. He's very efficient on the offensive end. Defensively, once he figures, you're my man, and you're gonna be alone now. You may score 30, like I was telling Rod when we was talking about Curry, with Kawhi going Curry. Yeah, Curry may get his 35 to 40, but his shooting percentage, I can guarantee you, is not going to be a high percentage. I can almost guarantee you it won't be high because Kawhi, he's just a hell of a defender, man. He's gonna make you work for everything. So I got him at 5, man. That's my top 5.
Man, boy. Man, that's tough, man. I think we all agree with 4 players in the top 5. LeBron James, Curry, Westbrook, Durant. And for my fifth player, I'm going with Chris Paul. And I know that he's 30 years old, and he's not at the at the peak of where he has been throughout his entire career. But I mean, the job that he does on a nightly basis to orchestrate a team and things that he does at that point guard position, a lot of it is just not going to be on, it's not going to be on the radar. Just the subtleness of some of his assists and the way he can set people up and things like that. His ability to, drive and kick, set guys up who can't get their own shots, things like that. I'm putting him at 5, but it's very tough because I was also thinking about Anthony Davis, a healthy Anthony Davis. I mean, it's hard to ignore a healthy Anthony Davis as the top 5 player in the league, but that's what kept me from putting Anthony Davis there. Man, I love the Kawhi Leonard, the Paul George. There's other guys that are right there too, but for my 5, that would be mine. But man, y'all have some great lists, man, and it's hard to take any of those guys that you mentioned out of that top 5.
Oh yeah.
So,
the only thing I would argue about with both of your lists, because you added Paul and you added Leonard, and especially when you start moving down to the 5th, you're splitting hairs because some people would put Harden in there, and you might even get somebody that might be a Melo lover. But my thing that I kind of looked at when I was doing mine is if you had a franchise, expansion franchise, and you had the number 1 pick, and you could pick anyone in the league, or if this was just an open league draft and you started drafting people, Kawhi Leonard is a great player, but I don't know if he plays the way he plays if he was the focal point of a team. And with Chris Paul, I can understand the argument with him, but if you had the number 1 pick to start your franchise and you would choose between Anthony Davis and Chris Paul, I think everybody would pick Davis, because as much as Davis frustrates me, New Orleans did a great job giving him that contract because they didn't have an option. Because if he ever gets on the court and kind of gets his head right from a physical standpoint or skill set, he's just a beast. But as I said, that's just splitting hairs, as you do with any top 5, because Kawhi is a beast. He when you can guard LeBron, you're a beast. And Chris Paul, he makes guys better. So I understand. I just kind of throw out there, if you could draft anybody and it was getting drafted, who would go, in that top tier of guys?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
That's a valid point. That's and I agree with you, Zach. I definitely would take a guy like Anthony Davis over Kawhi if it was a draft. If I was building a franchise. So I agree there. I was just basically going off of the this season, just this season, and the play. Yeah. So that was my thinking on it. I wasn't really thinking like that. But definitely, yeah. If you was talking about franchise building, then my thinking would be a little different. But just based on this season alone, just this season so far, that was my thinking on that.
Oh, he's a beast, and I don't have the Spurs going to the finals, but if they win the whole thing, I wouldn't be surprised. They got a phenomenal team, and Tim Duncan, he should be very happy because his next 2 years, he should be competing for that 6th ring.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking good in San Antonio, man. Hey, this is our final segment. It brings tears to me, but I know it's Santa's on his way, guys. But
absolutely,
quarter MVP and Coach of the Year, and we'll just go around the horn. Please give the fans your quarter MVP to this point in time, this point in the season? And who's your coach of the year at this point?
Well, I've succumbed to Golden State. I was one, especially as of last year, that just was not a believer that a jump shooting team could win and everything. But they won 67 games. They only have one loss right now. And while I don't think Curry is the best player, man, what he does, and he stands out on the team with some really good players. It's just hard for me to say someone else is the MVP right now. So Curry's my MVP. I'd like for it to be someone else. And not that I have anything against him, but it's just, I don't think he's the best player. And I think I just proved that off my list, but he's the MVP. And as far as coach of the year, I actually got Rick Carlisle as coach of the year.
Oh, wow.
And the Mavericks are the 4th seed in the West. I don't know if people thought that they would be there. And when you look at who they have, they got Dirk, who's still Dirk, but he's an old Dirk, can't do what he used to do. Matthews, who was coming off an injury. They got Zaza from Atlanta, which I'm sure all the Georgia people know well. Chandler Parsons, who's coming off an injury. Belton is having to fill in for Darren Williams, and they're 4th. And the big thing was they lost DeAndre Jordan, and everybody thought that was going to be a killer. But to me, that was a blessing in disguise because that's $22 million that the Clippers wasted on a guy that can't play in the 4th quarter. So I know Luke Walton only has one loss, but I kind of think I'm willing to bet that Luke Walton is not, Red Auerbach. So I'm going to go with Carlisle as my coach of the year for what he's gotten the Mavericks to so far. Or I should say coach of the quarter.
Okay. For me, Zach, man, I think you were looking on my paper on that one, man.
You may have listened to a previous show.
Oh yeah. But for the MVP, again, we're in agreement, man. It's really a 2-man race, but between Curry and LeBron. I'm gonna tell you what to watch for though. I have Curry though right now as my quarter MVP. I'm gonna tell you what to watch for as the year goes on and some things start to happen. If that race begins to get a little close down the stretch, watch LeBron for the coming in and swipe it away from him. I don't think he's aiming for it. I don't think he's shooting for it. But if it's within reach, because we all know, man, a game or two can be the deciding factor with some of these voters. So just watch for that. But right now, the quarter MVP, I have Curry, and coach of the year, it was between 2 guys, Carlisle and Stan Van Gundy. But I'm gonna go with Stan, man. Stan Van Gundy for Detroit.
You looking on my paper, dude?
Well, I was looking at Stan. I was looking at him.
Yeah, Stan. They're currently AFC in the East. I just think he has those young guys playing at a high level, and it's impressive, man. How Detroit's playing. Andre Drummond, man, he's playing like an all-star, man. Reggie Jackson is surprising. He seems to be a bit more under control than he was when he played for OKC. And I just like the way that Stan has those guys playing, man. I like some of the things he's doing out there. So I'm gonna go with Stan right now for my coach of the year.
Well, we'll make it 3 for 3 on the Steph Curry. I mean, number 1 seed, 1 loss.
Hey, I'm sorry. Did you say Steph Curry?
I did. I did. Yeah, and I am awake. It's not a dream.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
because you're like the biggest Steph Curry hater on the planet.
Well, not hater. I just made a valid point.
Okay.
And I think we touched on that a little bit today about the defense and some things like that. I just like to see a little more other things going on, that's all. But as far as MVP and voting, I mean, and what is, usually the factors that tie into an MVP, I mean, he is that this year. If you come up with another name, I don't think it would be bigger than what Steph Curry's done so far. So at this point, he's the MVP. He's leading the race. It's going to have to take somebody like and see, the problem is like the Spurs team, even if they finish with a better record than Golden State, who on the Spurs is really going to stand out that much to garner an MVP vote?
If the Spurs get the best record, then I'm going to have to go with what Wasey said earlier. Leonard would be I don't see how he wouldn't be a prime candidate if the Spurs end up with the best record, because he's playing phenomenal now.
Well, a candidate, yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm sorry, a serious candidate where you have a hard time choosing, because he's got the numbers. He's playing well, and he plays both ends, as Wasey said. That defense doesn't get the credit, but he'd be a serious candidate.
Yeah, he definitely does. It just seems like with the Spurs, they kind of even everything out across the board, man, to the point where, they might not even want to show up for the award anyway, but I would say Curry at this point, and then coach of the year at this point. And unfortunately, guys like, we can go through the history of the game, but Phil Jackson or, we always overlook those guys who, get it done. And then we pick the surprise coach that year. And right now, to me, I love the Carlisle pick. But I think more importantly to me is the Detroit pick with Stan Van Gundy. That is a surprise that Detroit is a team that they're they're finally gonna break through and make the playoffs, and they're playing much better basketball, more disciplined as a team, and it's paying off. I like the Stan Van Gundy selection. That was going to be mine, but now it's ours, me and Wasey. So that's fine. I mean, then you know what they say about great minds, and
it's a very good pick. Van Gundy's doing an excellent job. I mean,
but don't get me wrong.
I think it started last year.
Yeah, it did. But don't get me wrong. I wrote down Carlisle too, man. It was tough.
They both are doing an excellent job. Like I said, Van Gundy, when he paid Josh Smith to go away, that was the start of him getting his team the way that he wanted to get it.
Right.
Yeah, it balances things out, man. It worked out, man. I think it was Detroit. Detroit fans should be excited, man. They got arguably the guy that I would start my team with under the age of 25 is Andre Drummond. I would start my team with him. I mean, how old is he? 22, maybe? Yeah. I would start my team with that guy. I mean, the foundation with the defense, the rebounding, those types of things, and he's still learning the game, and he's an athlete, and he's big and strong. I would definitely like to start my team with him, with those young pups. Man, what a show, guys. Any parting shots before we head into Christmas Day?
Well, man, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, man. Happy holidays. Be safe. Enjoy your family and friends, man, and just share the love, man. And I enjoyed the show with both of you guys. Very, very informative, man. Very informative.
Well, I got to go with Wasey. I wish everybody happy holidays. Kirby Smart, I don't know why you're messing around trying to help Alabama win a national title when you should be at Georgia recruiting, getting ready to try and get our great university to get a national title. But happy holidays to him. And this has been fun. It's been a while since I've been on, so it's good to talk sports on the podcast again.
Oh, yeah. It was great, man. Great to have you back in the fold, Zachariah. Be safe out there in Texas. Wasey and I holding it down in Georgia. I like to wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and, tune into that NBA basketball tomorrow. Open your present. Enjoy the day. Don't miss the Cavs and Golden State matchup. And, as always, we thank you all for listening.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Who's our finals Who do we have in the finals right now? Who do we have winning? I mean, I know it's way early, but at the quarter mark, I have Golden State and Cleveland, of course. But the only reason I have Golden State is I actually think San Antonio can beat Golden State. But I think OKC beats San Antonio in the second round and then goes on to the Western Conference Final and gets beat by Golden State.
Hmm.
And then
Okay.
I have Golden State winning the title again, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay.
I got Cleveland and San Antonio. The Spurs, I mean, as I said on that first podcast, I just seen the look on their eyes, man, when they walked up that floor again when the Clippers eliminated them. I don't care who they play. I don't believe they'll get eliminated before the finals. That's just my opinion. I have.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, but I have Cleveland, and I have Cleveland winning it all. I got LeBron. I got Cleveland. I got LeBron bringing that first championship to Cleveland. Feel good story, man. Get your ratings up. NBA make a little money. You know what I'm saying? So I got Cleveland winning it all.
Well, I'm going to be stubborn, and I'm going to stick with my LA Clippers and Cleveland Cavaliers final. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Gotcha.
And we have to rewind the tape to see who I picked to win it all. I believe I picked Cleveland to win it all, but I'm going to stick with that story.
The Clippers aren't a bad pick either. The West, I think the top 4 teams in the West, though the Clippers would be a little bit back, even though they're not record-wise, but I'd say they're number 4 behind San Antonio, Golden State, and OKC. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them made it there, and if any of them won, I'd be shocked if Cleveland won the title this year.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
All right. Well, on that note, I want you guys to please come back to the studio, and
absolutely,
we'll look at this again, leading up to the All-Star break, and then we'll have our All-Star segment. We'll give a couple of predictions on that and who we think's going to make the teams and so on and so forth. And but also for the big show, we need to get that together. We need to talk about the national championship.
Have a man shout out to Rod, man. Get Rod on here next time.
Yeah, we'll get Rod. Rod will definitely be on there, and we'll schedule it up where all 4 of us are on there, and we can go ahead and get that All-Star mark and get the 3/4 mark of the season covered too. We need to talk about a little college football too, if we can, guys. Once we get into the national championship picture.
Absolutely.
So if you guys are willing to do that, I'll get with your agent and we'll see how we can get that scheduled up too.
Sure thing.
Okay.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate you guys. And fans, we appreciate you listening to the show. And this will be on YouTube. It should be uploaded within the next 24 hours or less. We'll get with our technical department on that. But again, we thank you for listening. And on behalf of Wasey and on behalf of Zach, I'm Mr. 411. I'm Mr. 411. And you guys have a great evening.
Happy holidays.